Peace, 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 y'all. It's your boy ActionFiggySkinny here again with the second edition of what I've been calling my really honest reviews. Especially with this Maximum series. Y'all seem to have liked the Maximum Spider-Man I just put out a couple days ago, so I'm grifting you guys with a next joint. Today we have, as you can see, the not really anticipated but the somewhat controversial, less controversial than Spider-Man but still controversial based on what we got with this and the price point. We have the Maximum series Incredible Hulk, or just Maximum Series Hulk by Marvel Legends, Hasbro team. As you can see, this is a Maximum, somewhat quote-unquote deluxe Hulk figure with some features that we've seen previously in other Hulks, classic Hulks, that I'm going to talk about and compare to, and with some new features that allows, you know, my dude to do his Thunderclap, which is a signature move on Punisher, and something that a lot of us have been wanting to get for some time. Me personally, I wasn't particularly excited / demanding this figure. I would have put on a Maximum Series Captain America before this, or even a Wolverine, or another character. But Hulk is, you know, okay, maybe even Thor. I would have put out Thor. But Hulk, okay. People like Hulk. We've been needing / people wanted a new Hulk ever since the 20th anniversary. Marvel Legends Hulk has become hard to find. There's a few things I like about this thing, and I'm going to say a few things that I like and mad things that I dislike about this fig, and I'm going to get into that. So without further ado, we about to see what's in this box. Chill. And for those of you that care about that sort of thing, here's a box. Display window. We have 3 head sculpts, as you can see, 1 on him, 2 on the side. We have 3 sets of hands, 2 on him, 2 packed in. It comes with the clap effect. It comes with these missiles that you can break apart to make it look like Hulk is busting up things. And that's the front. The side has this Hulk view, which is cool. You know, I'm going to zoom in on that. Well, it looks groovy-ish, I guess. You know, the back has Hulk doing the Thunderclap, which, okay, sure. That's not the position I'm going to have him in at all times, but it's cool. Nonetheless, it's cool. Yeah. Top has a Maximum series. You know what I mean? Has that there. And yeah, that basically sums up the fig. So let's go ahead and get into this fig and get into this review. Chill. This one's going to be a lot shorter than the last one. The last one was like 40 minutes. I'm going to try to cut this down, but I mean, when I go into detail, when I start talking about things, you know what I mean? Like it goes. So we'll see how this goes. Chill. Here he is, fresh out the packaging, and I must say, yeah, I'm kind of whelmed with this. Not even overwhelmed, not even super excited, playing with it, kind of, you know what I mean? Like this is about the same as if you got the classic Hulk. I'm not gonna go down that road immediately. I just want to say, this is it, but this ain't it. Meaning, if you have the classic first appearance Wolverine and the Hulk that came with that at the 80th years, you do not particularly need this figure. If you do not have a Hulk that is green in your collection and you missed out on the 20th anniversary and finding that first appearance Hulk or whatever, first appearance Wolverine 2-pack with Hulk in it, it's harder to find, then go ahead and get this. But immediately I was just kind of left like, eh. And the highlight of this is that I like the purple on these pants versus the other one. And that's not a good bar. So, we'll get into the deco. I just want to say first impressions of this is not like what I felt for Spider-Man at all. Key aspects of this that I don't need is the toe articulation. I feel it breaks up things and makes it look weird. The chest is cool and the soft goods is cool, but then it's kind of, well, the soft malleable chest for the, you know, crunch, but it's just, then what? You know what I mean? Like, there's then what? Like, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to get into deco, then I'm going to go ahead and get into the accessories, and then I'm going to get into articulation and comparisons. That's how we're going to break this down. So I'm going to get into deco coming up next. Chill. Okay, so deco. This is the portion where I'm going to talk about the overall proportions, colors, color choices, palette choices, all sorts of things that I like and or dislike about this figure. So starting off, I do like the color green that they chose. It's a vibrant green. It pops. It's a hint of like all the green. So you got some emerald in here. You got some like celery green. So like more of like a Kelly green in there. You have some emerald. You have lots of shades in here. Not particularly shaded, but just like mixed into the chest piece, arms, and legs. Those are all pretty much the same, and they kind of look good together. Meaning we don't have difference in like paints and like different shades of greens on arms versus torso. They all kind of blend and it works well. Secondly, as I mentioned before, the purple on the pants, I like it a lot. It's bright, it's shiny, it pops, it's not matted, it's not dull. Some of the other Hulk purples are either too matted and it makes the color seem dull, or just too dark, which I know he had dark purple, but I like more of a purple, vibrant purple, so that's cool. The head sculpt out of the box I can deal with, but that goes a part of my gripes with this thing, whereas the head sculpts it comes with, I'm not particularly a fan of any of them. It's not just that I just not a fan of the artist's choice and who they went with to do the head sculpts. But otherwise, yeah, playing with this thing, it moves okay. As I stated before, you don't need this if you have the previous Hulk from the 80th anniversary. This is just an added bonus with some bonuses that they might think are bonuses, but to me, I think they kind of made things a little bit weaker. Yeah. Things I like about this thing. There's things I do like, and there's things that I despise. But before we get into that, well, actually, no, I'll get into it right now. I don't like the head sculpts. I think the head sculpts are trash. Especially the ones that it came with, which goes into the accessories, and I'll get into that when I get into the accessories. But like, some of these are just like, I don't know. And I'm talking to you. Like, I just don't know with this head sculpt. Or some of these, but yeah, let's save that for articulation, and let's go ahead and get into articulation right now. Again, this is soft-ish, you know. You can move the arms forward, and you know, you can't really. We'll talk about that and the dimensions and all that stuff. Let's get into the accessories. Chill. All right, so accessories-wise, he comes with quite a bit here. Not as much as Spider-Man, but you know, his fair share amount. We have this effect to represent a sonic boom / wave when clapping. This looks cool. I think this is very, very, very dope, and I like the way this looks, but it's okay. Big piece of plastic, hardened, you know what I mean? Not malleable, but you know. All right, he comes with this missile. The missile here that is actually could be torn apart. Let me just get that focused up real quick. There you go. Yeah, so you know, hands off at the end here. This fire bit comes off, which is alright. And then this center part comes completely apart, so it can make it look like he's ripping them apart. And that I think is cool. If you see Century Productions photo recently, he did something with this with Colossus and Kitty Pryde and made it look super dope. So this is cool. I could use this for ACBA and other photos. That's alright. Something nice. Okay. He comes with these two flat hands to represent clapping muckas in the face. Like so, you know what I mean? So there he is right there. Those are very detailed, look nice. You can see the nails on them. And then he also has these whoosh effects. Here's a whoosh effect. I call it a whoosh effect. I'm pretty sure that's not the name for it, but it's like a, you know, whoosh effect. And this would clap on, you kind of port this onto here, like so. So then when he does bring the hands together, let's bring them together, you know what I mean? Like they said in Power Rangers, then you would have that kind of effect to kind of whoosh. And it's cool like that. So that's how that goes. He comes with two fists. You know what I mean? The fists are alright. They're okay. Also not too detailed. Hinge. Back and forth. Horizontal hinges. Not vertical, which is good. But these are a little stiff. You gotta move these around a bit. You could hear that. But these will plug in onto him. I'll show you what he looks like with those. And then here comes my least favorite part of this entire fig. These head sculpts. These friggin' head sculpts. I don't know why. First up is this goofy shit. I don't know what this is or why. And you guys can tell me who the artwork is. But like with the teeth like this glaring, I understand the look that they want to go for. But this guy looks like friggin' Jim Carrey's The Mask. That's what this reminds me of. The Mask. And I'm just like not really feeling this at all. This is just kind of nuts, and it's a little bit annoying. So that's what I'm looking at here with this. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, so this head sculpt I'm just not really feeling at all, and I'm gonna move to manual so you guys can see how much, like, it's just not at all feeling this. Like, it's just to me, I'm not putting this on him, especially when we get into my other bad, really not bad, but really big gripe about this is that, I don't know, we'll get into that when we get into articulation, but this head sculpt, not a big fan, and even less of a fan of this head sculpt. Like, I understand you want to get Hulk angry, and you want to look for him from when he's like doing his weight, like his sonic boom and his clap, but it's like, who is this for, man? Like, who is this for? This is, I don't know, like, maybe the major Hulk fans like these, but I know that, like, strong things on the internet where, like, the head sculpts weren't it, and these, for me, are not it. These are my least favorite accessories and least favorite head sculpt that I've seen in a while. This is kind of up there with that Sue Storm bad with me. Like, this is just horrid. I'm not a fan of this at all. So yeah, like, you lose points for those head sculpts, and then the one that he comes with by default is okay, but it's nothing to, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing to go home and, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool, but it's nothing great. You know what? Let me just pop that off, actually. Let's pop that off and get that, you know, in there proper, legit. Let's pop that off. See what that there looks like. Okay, fine. Not like I'm recording or nothing. All right, so yeah, here he is with that head sculpt that I don't love. I'm gonna go ahead and put on all the head sculpts and then switch his hands up for you guys, show him with the accessories. And after that, we're gonna go ahead and get into articulation. But yeah, I'm beefing with this head. I don't like this one. It doesn't look great to me. Also this joint, which, like, let's just pop this on here. This has it looking more very akin to, like, the Marvel Select one, right? This has more of a, like, and I don't mess with this at all, bro. Like, at all. Not a fan of this. Very much Jim Carrey looking like The Mask. I'm just not a fan. And then the original joint that he comes with, which is probably the best one. Like, that's probably why they put this in, like, stock, because this is honestly the best looking one. And I know that's a lot of, oh man, if we could get it to pop on. Okay, yeah. And then you have this one, sorry, which is like, okay, nothing great, but whatever. Let's go ahead and put these accessories on his hands. So we have the open hands here that are made to hold his missile accessories. So you can go ahead and just pop this into a fist, or is it this? They would be like, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, so he has this hand for this hand for such, gripping, holding, so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. Let's go and change that up, see what that looks like. There he is holding the missile thing. It took me a while to get the lighter piece in here with the wires into that hand because it's a little bit open and loose, but that's what he is doing, holding that. It looks okay like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. All right, let's put the fisted hands on him first. Actually, let's go ahead and put those clapping hands on him first so I can kind of get used to how that's supposed to work, and then throw one of the heads on. Let's do that. And here he is doing the clapping effect. Honestly, that is like, it took me forever to get this damn thing to stand with these effects in his hand and everything. It's just way too top heavy. And like, it's just like, there's no way for him to properly hold this effect. Like, you can kind of try to position it in there, and I'm sure other people who's taken like way more time than me, but just like, it's just not working. And I'm just like, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of the head sculpt. I'm not a fan of the mechanics here. It looks cool, but like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not down. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into him with the somewhat not neutral head, but a neutral head and neutral fist. And yeah, I don't know. I can't really get this to work and be in a neutral, not neutral, but be in a pose that like doesn't have his body half like leaning back. It's okay, you know, it'll stand there. That's what it looks like, but it's not it, man. Not a big fan. Just for that, not a big fan. let's go ahead and put those fists on him, and then we'll get into articulation immediately. Let's go. And here he is with the 80th anniversary Hulk head on him, which fits nicely. That's a plus, 1+. And the 2-fisted hands that he came with, looking kind of cool. So let's go ahead and get into the articulation now. Articulation wise, this guy is new, but still some things that are lacking, some things that people would have desired. I know I'm beefing heavily because though this head looks up slightly, he has like no head movement with any of his original heads. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I'm gonna put the neutral one on. All right. And I'll show you guys that, yeah, he can barely really look up. I mean, big neck, so on and so forth, but I remember Hulk being able to look up. At least give me the neck joint. If you guys all have this top malleable rubber stuff here, at least give me the ability for it to lean back so that I could at least, like, you know what I mean, like, look up a bit. Looking down wise, yeah, you know what I mean? Okay, he's a little bit blocked by his chest, but whatever. No real, some tilt to it, which is okay. And then 360. Now, the newest feature that they're coming with is this new malleable rubber thing so that he can kind of get his arms more in to do, you know, like his moves, you know what I mean? Like, you want to be able to get him to do the crushing stuff, so on and so forth. My beef with that is, say you leave that in that pose for that long, what happens to this once it gets molded to that certain form? Does it go back? Is it going to be a hard time to get it to go back? I've already seen it pinching the neck piece underneath here because it's rubber, so it's kind of hard with that. I don't love how this looks like it could be folded and stuck in certain positions. So already there's this weird like gappage here. If you just hit them neutral, sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it seems uneven just because of how the material is. So I'm not a big fan of that. He doesn't have double jointed elbows. Like, it's just like 90-degree elbows, which is like, okay, if you're going to do that, people are going to want a double jointed elbow Hulk. I'm about to show you guys one in comparison, so you can't tell me that that's not possible, because we got a recent Hulk bath figure that had double jointed elbows, like so, you know what I mean? So it's just very weird for them to, you know, omit / leave that out and not manage to get that in. As I mentioned, they do have butterfly joints that don't go back like so, as like they go back but not like crazy much like they used to on the older body, but these do crunch forward so that you're able to get, you know, more poses. But again, not too sure what's going to happen to the body after that. In terms of crunching, I'll put his arms down, but in terms of crunching, forward back crunch, it's not much. Forward, you know, minimal. Something I would have just worked out a whole new torso if they could have, instead of doing this. His legs are on double jointed and they have decent range, but nothing crazy. Swivel at the waist, no boot cut for feet, which would have been great, but then they gave us toe articulation, which I can tell you right now, I'm never using. Like, if anything, the toe articulation makes the feet more unstable, and it's harder for him, a guy who has such a heavy set body, to stand. I'm not happy with their choices here. So articulation wise, it's like, again, if you have the 80th anniversary Hulk, you don't need this. So the 80th anniversary Hulk, I prefer its articulation, despite it not being able to come forward with the shoulders, with the arms. At least it could go far back. And yeah, yeah. So that there's no real range in the head. You can't look up, can't look down, and that's for all 3 heads I checked. And yeah, I'm probably gonna be leaving him more like neutral, like so. I'm not sure which head I'm gonna put on him, but yeah, this is the guy. Worth the price point? In my opinion, no. See, Spider-Man came with things and did things so that the price point made sense to me in the end. This guy, the price point doesn't make sense to me, and I feel like you got more bang of your buck for the 80th anniversary Hulk versus this. Normally your boy buys one to stock and one to rock, and I'm really just buying one to rock, and I only bought this to rock for this review. If it wasn't for anything else, I probably would have just kept this and let it go on sale, and then I would have gotten it then. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this fig. Let's go ahead and get into comparisons real quick, and then we'll go and get into my final thoughts, though I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out where I'm going with my final thoughts on this. But yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I just want to reiterate really quick, the articulation isn't terrible. It's not much worse than what we got with this guy, you know. It's a little bit better, but there's just things that are lacking that for the price point, I feel like it should have. And yeah, that's all. And I really don't like those head sculpts, but you know, otherwise, it's a cool fig. But you know, it's just lacking some things that I would like, and I really like, and it's just lacking some of those. So yeah. Anyways. All right, comparison garrison time. Comparison garrison time. Let's go ahead and get our boy into some comparisons. Obviously, the first one coming up that we all expect to see is going to be the 85th anniversary or 80th anniversary Hulk. So you can see the differences here clearly. I believe he is slightly taller. Can't really tell, consider he with his head straight. Yes, I believe he's slightly taller than the Hulk, but I like the details on him better. The green, purple is nicer on Maximum, but this is alright too. So yeah, that's what those two look like next to each other, which isn't at all wrong. Looks good. Next up, we've got the Totally Awesome Hulk, which is Amadeus Cho, and seeing what they look like together. That's a figure with double jointed elbows, but to be honest, they really just reused the MCU one, so okay, no harm, no foul. You know, they get away with that. I would compare him to the Red Hulk, but Red Hulk is essentially the same body as the previous other Hulk, so once you get one Hulk in there, you're pretty much good for the whole thing. Let's go ahead and get him compared next to a Captain America, and not the Captain America, though for a while this was the Captain America figure to have, you know, and these two next to each other look alright. Let's compare him against his counterpart, and that's Jada Figures Ken from their Street Fighter line. Looking really good, looking good. Throw him up against a Wolverine figure. First off, this Wolverine from the 3-pack there, and I added a head sculpt that came with the, I believe that was the Wolverine retro card, the extra head sculpt that came with that. That's the head sculpt from that, so that looks cool. I like a lot. Compare him with another Wolverine. This is the Extreme X-Men Wolverine. So here you go. See what those guys look like next to each other. Okay, alright, okay. Do we have any more big figs? Any more bigums? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Throw him up against this Bath here. Nemesis Build-A-Figure Wave Bath. See what those guys look like next to each other. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's throw them up against... Do I have anybody else? Let's check. Let's see. Hold up. Alright, real quick while we're here, let's throw him up against the Joe Fixit, which is always rumored to be slightly smaller than Hulk, so I'm glad that worked out. Joe Fixit is supposed to be smaller than Hulk slightly, so that works. That works very, very well. Alright, 2 more figs and then we're going to get out of here. Alright, as we're going with the MVC Tooth theme, M. Bison from Jada Toys, another fig. Looks really, really good. And then lastly, I'm going to compare our boy here to the first release in the Maximum series. Nope. There we go. Spider-Man. And him up against Spidey looks good. Spidey wins so far though. Spidey's the best one out of these two. Maximum Hulk is okay, but he's not great. And that I will segue right into my final thoughts on this fig right after these messages. So final thoughts. Final thoughts is that I am whelmed, and I wish that this had come with a lot more, or had just had more done to it in order to justify the price point. As much as I like the soft portion of this, I feel like, well, A, there's some gappage in mine, but just B, I feel like it could just get stuck that way if you were to leave it in a certain place for too long, and thus that would probably mess up your fig. I also feel like double jointed arms definitely needed to be added. I don't know how you guys would have done it, but there's a way to figure that out. And I feel like he needed to have more range with his head, considering us having the soft goods or softer body, upper body. They should have done something with that net peg to make it really kind of arch back. All to say, this fig to me, it doesn't really get a number. I'm not giving it like a 7 on 10 or anything. I can't take it out of 10 because it's just a Hulk fig. So it's a maximum Hulk fig, and I don't think it really maximizes much except for bringing his arms forward. And that's cool, but yeah, not enough. I'm really not using much of this clap. I'll use it for a photo once or twice maybe. These head sculpts I'm never touching, so the missile I will use the most, and that's really being honest, to be honest. So yeah, overall this gets, I'm gonna say like even like a 5 on 10 in terms, for me, 5 on 10. And yeah, I hope the next maximum release is much better thought out and something more worthwhile, something like a maximum Captain America, you know, maximum Iron Man, maximum Black Panther, maximum, I don't know, give me something, guys. But this one was not it. All to say, if you liked this review, and if you didn't like this review, please go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, do all that fun stuff, because as you know, I'm just trying to get this little bitty channel up there, and everything you guys do to, you know, support helps the channel. So I thank you guys right now for watching this and all my other videos previous from this one, and I invite you guys to keep checking my stuff because I put out more things every week or every couple of days. I'm, you know, getting more frequent lately. So yeah, if you guys like toys, come back, keep checking out this channel, and until then, keep fit, have fun, keep collecting, and peace. Be safe and take care out there, because the world's a little crazy. Take y'all until next time. Peace.